to another episode of Game Time, presented this week by the New Mexico Air National Guard. I'm JP Murrieta, and this week our guest is the Oregon Mountain boys basketball team and head coach Rocky Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us this week.
Thank you for having us.
You guys are in town for the Joe Armijo basketball tournament in Albuquerque at Albuquerque Academy. What do you think about the way your team is playing so far this year?
We've only had 3 games. We're 2-1. We took a tough loss to Volcano. And, you know, it's still kind of, right? So, but I think the most what you get is the bonding with the teammates. You see the kids, some that are quiet, you know, some of the quiet ones, and it's like, oh wow, you talk, so-and-so, you talk. We got a few kids like that, you know, the coaching staff, man, they're mute. We want them to talk on the court, but then you see them in the hallway and the hotel rooms, and they're chit-chatting with each other, and it's like, wait a minute, these guys talk, but you know, they do have lives outside of basketball.
Well, listen, anyone who's seen you coach and watch this team knows that you talk. You go from a very mild-mannered discussion like here, you get on the court and go from 0 to 60 in about a second. Where do you get that energy from and that enthusiasm and passion?
Well, yeah, I think it's just the love of the sport. You know, I like to watch a lot of basketball, but whenever you get your team out there, you really, I mean, when I first got the job, you kind of didn't really know the kids, but now that you know the kids and the kids know you, you feel a little bit more comfortable yelling at the kids, and I don't think they take offense as much.
Well, I hope they don't. Let's talk about some of these guys. You have definitely some size this year. Brandon Karras, Ethan Pack, some of the big guys down low. Is that the focus of your offense? Is that kind of where the point production starts?
Well, Brandon is tough for us, and you know, we got guys that can really shoot. And, you know, as a coaching staff, we talk about what do we rather have, guys. That, I mean, when we get going, we definitely want them to shoot the open three or open jump shots. But if we can't get anything, we definitely want to try to force feed him in there.
Last year, this group got to the state semifinals at the state tournament.
Yes, sir.
Had a great run in the postseason, but came up short against Volcano Vista, as you mentioned. I remember after that game, some of your players went back down on the floor, kind of embracing the moment, wondering if they would ever get back. How tough was that game, and does it motivate these guys to try and get back again next year? Oh yeah,
definitely. We, you know, I saw some of the kids go down there. You know, I'm the coach. I'm coming back next year. Some of those guys we don't have back this year. You know, you kind of hurt for those guys. But you know, as I grew up in New Mexico, I played for the Bulldogs in Las Cruces, and we never made it to the pit. And you know, it was always for me as a person. You know, you always wanted to get there. And you know, hopefully as a coach, we can get back there again this year, and hopefully, you know, make it a little further than we did last year.
You mentioned facing Volcano Vista earlier this season. The Hawks won that game, the rematch with you earlier in the year. Do you look at that game as kind of a gauge of what you need to do and improve on to make a deep run again this year and beat those kinds of teams down the stretch?
Definitely. You know, it was good to see those teams, to see Volcano. We saw Roswell, we saw Hope. I think they're all teams that are winning right now. And you know, for us to, you know, be 2-1 right now, I think we're okay right now. And we all know it's about district, and we feel pretty good about going into district. And as long as we can get some tough teams to play, I think it'll get us ready for district, and I think district will get us ready for playoffs.
What kind of goals do you set for these guys at the start of the season?
So expectations last year, you know, we wanted to win the district. You know, we felt that Las Cruces High School, you know, they're always a team to beat in the district, and we feel like Alamogordo, they're really tough. Last year their record didn't show, but they were the only team to beat us in the district last year, and I felt that they might have been overlooked in the state, but I see what they're doing now, and they're making a statement. So
Do you feel like you're one of the teams to beat this year? Do you kind of feel that target?
Definitely in the district. You know, we hear a lot of people in the community, oh, you guys are going to be the team to beat. And it's like, well, we got to play the games. We got to play the games. And hopefully we don't lose anybody to foul trouble or to healthy, you know, injury. But if we can stay healthy, I think we can make another run.
And what do you hope to see from these guys the rest of the way?
You know, I hope to ride our seniors. You know, I think we have a short senior group, but I think they're really tough players. A couple of them are all-state players returning. So, you know, for me, you know, the coaching staff, we feel like we can ride those guys. We didn't mention Yanai Wilson. He's an all-state player coming back, and he's a sharp shooter, and we want him to shoot. But he's kind of passive. He likes to get his teammates involved, which sometimes we got to yell at him to shoot the ball. But if we can't get going, we'll go inside to our other senior. We call him BK, Brandon.
Well, listen, this is your opportunity to yell at him to shoot the ball as loud as you want. We got 3 cameras. It's documented, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's one of the quiet ones, Yanai. I'm talking about Yanai. He's a good kid. I'm really glad to have him on, to be his coach. And what I see him do in practice, you know, with the coaching staff, we're really pleased that he's with us.
All right, well, you're probably pleased with the way things are going so far this season. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, one night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks, and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Program is young, and next year the Rams could be one of the top tier teams in the state. But the way things are going early this season, her plan could be ahead of schedule. Lori Mabry is in her second season as head coach of the Rio Rancho Rams.
She really likes to yell, but it's good for us, so.
She's very hard on us, which is really good, and she just believes in us so much, and it's so helpful and empowering.
No matter the volume of instruction, what she's teaching is working. The Rams are off to a solid start this season with a very young squad.
We've got 19 total freshmen in the program, so we're extremely young all the way through, and we're pretty excited about things.
We have a really young team, but we're really good. We have a lot of chemistry and we have really tight friendships on this team too, which is really nice.
This year's group is already on pace to surpass last year's 14-win total.
Well, we definitely have a better understanding of the culture she kind of wants to bring. Last year it was really new, and we had to kind of figure out what she wanted and how she wanted us to play, but this year we kind of have a better understanding.
We're trying to play up tempo. Of course, I'm a half-court man-to-man girl. Everybody knows that. I'm probably the easiest scout on everybody's schedule.
Winning helps build confidence, and the Rams came out of the gate finishing first at a tournament in Santa Fe.
Just the fact that we were able to come out of there 3-0 really helped boost our confidence. We are a very young team. We've got 2 8th graders on the varsity, we've got 2 9th graders on the varsity, and we've got 2 sophomores on the varsity that play a lot of extended minutes. So I think it really helped our youngsters feel like they could compete with older kids.
I think that boosted morale a lot. We haven't won in a while, so it was really cool to be able to win and know that we can.
We're so different from this year to last year, so it just I feel like it boosted everyone's confidence and just made us realize what we could do this year if we put our minds to it.
Mabry knows what it takes to win. She led Cibola to a state title back in 2015 and took the program to 5 state championship appearances. She left the Cougars and took a less than 1-year sabbatical before getting back on the bench as a varsity head coach.
I'm hoping that I can get the teams here as good as some of the Glory Day teams were at Cibola High School. I think that would be great. I think this year, in all honesty, we're probably a mid-tier sort of a team. But like I said, we're very young, and I would expect us to be a top-tier team by next year.
Depending on how this young team develops, that could come sooner rather than later.
The Rio Rancho girls basketball team has never reached the state final. Mabry hopes to change that. Winter sports also means wrestling. Here's a look at some of the top performances from last weekend's APS Metro Championships. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by the New Mexico Air National Guard. We are taking a couple weeks off for the holiday break, but we will be back in 2024 with more highlights, more interviews, and more features. As we put a bow on the 2023 calendar, we will send you out of the year with a look back at the fall state champs of 2023. We'll see you next time on Game Time.